How to validate MCP protocols. This video walks you through the process of checking your MCP protocols to make sure everything is set up correctly. We are going to validate MCP protocols in just 5 simple steps. So, to do this, let's start with the first step, which is accessing the protocol section. To get started with validating your MCP servers, we'll head over to the Protocol Validator tool. Go ahead and click on the Protocol tab up in the top navigation bar. The Protocol Validator is now open. Let's move on to exploring the main tabs to see the different validation options available. To explore the main tabs, take a look at the Live Audit option up top. Go ahead and open the Live Audit tab, which is where you'll run checks against connected servers in real time. Next, hop over to the Spec Reference tab to browse the MCP specification details. Jump back to the Manual Validator tab, since that's where we'll kick things off. The main tabs are now clear and we understand the layout of the Protocol Validator. Let's go to the next step, which is validating quick example requests, where we'll use the built-in samples to quickly test how the validator processes different message types. To validate quick example requests, take a look at the quick examples row below the message box. These are pre-built JSON-RPC samples you can test instantly without writing anything from scratch. Go ahead and hit the Tools List Request button to load that sample into the editor. With the message loaded, click the Validate button to run it against the MCP spec. You'll see a pass result show up in the Validation Results panel, confirming the request is compliant. From here, you can open your File Explorer to grab another sample to test, with the quick example validated successfully. Let's move on to the next step, which is testing files and reviewing history, where we'll upload our own JSON files and check past validation runs. To test with your own request files, just drag and drop a JSON file straight into the validator. Let's pull in the list resources request file from our samples folder. Once it's loaded, hit the Validate button to run it through the checks. Open up the History tab to see all the validations you've run so far. You'll see your recent runs listed here, like the Resources, List, and Tools jar list requests, so you can quickly jump back to any of them. Give the Tools jar list entry a click to pull up its details again. Then switch over to the Resources jar list entry to compare what came back from that validation. We've reviewed the test files and audit history. Let's move on to handling errors and exporting results, where we'll see how the validator responds to failed requests and how to save those results for later review. To try a different spec, open the MCP specification version dropdown at the top. Pick the latest modern version dated 2026-07-28 so we can test against the newest spec. Hit the Validate button to run the check. You'll see an error pop up in the validation results section, which is exactly what we want since this tells us where the request breaks against the spec. Over on the right, you'll notice a few handy icons. Copy to clipboard for grabbing the output, format JSON to clean up the structure, and clear to reset the panel. Go ahead and click the clear icon to export and wipe the current results. When the Save As dialog appears, click Save to store the file locally. You'll get a results downloaded confirmation so you know the export went through cleanly. Manual validation is now complete and we know how to handle errors and export results. Let's go to the next step, which is starting a connected server audit, where we'll test a live MCP server in real time to verify its protocol compliance. To kick off a live server audit, jump over to the Live Audit tab. Open up the Connected Server dropdown to pick which server you want to audit. Go ahead and choose the Airbnb listing server from the list since it's already connected and ready to go. Hit the Start Audit button to run compliance checks against the MCP spec. Sit tight for a moment while the validator works through the server, testing tools, resources, and prompts to see how well it lines up with the protocol. The audit is now running against the connected server. Let's move on to reviewing detailed audit findings to see how the server performed against the protocol checks. Once the audit finishes, you'll see the results broken down by category. Start by expanding the lifecycle section to check how the server handles initialization and shutdown. Next, open up the Tools section to see how each tool-related check performed. Expand the TL07 fail entry to dig into what went wrong with that particular check. Open the TL06 pass item to see the details of a check that passed successfully. Handy for comparing against the failures. Take a look at the TL08 info entry too, which gives you extra context and observations from the audit. Scroll through the Tools section to review all the findings together and get a full picture of how your server is behaving. Once you've gone through everything, collapse the Tools section and scroll back up to keep the view tidy. The audit findings have been thoroughly reviewed. Let's move on to recording and managing audit history, where we'll enable recording to save audit results for future reference. To save your audit results for later, flip on the record toggle and then kick things off by hitting Start Audit. Give it a moment while the audit runs through all the checks against your connected server. Once it wraps up, you'll see the results pop up and a fresh entry gets logged in the audit history section below. Go ahead and open that new audit record to dig into what was captured. Expand the lifecycle section to review how the protocol handshake and connection stages performed. Next, open up the Tools section to see the results for each tool that was validated. Once you're done reviewing, collapse the Tools and Lifecycle sections, then close the whole record to keep your history view nice and tidy. Our audit history is now saved and ready for review. Let's go to the next step, which is exporting audits as PDF, so we can share the results or keep a portable record outside the platform. To export an audit as a PDF, open the three-dot menu on the audit record. You'll see a few export format options pop up here. Go ahead and pick PDF, then hit Save in the dialog box to store it on your machine. You'll get a quick confirmation that the file was exported. Let's minimize the app and take a look. Head over to your File Explorer and open up the PDF you just saved. Once it's opened, you can close the All Tools side menu to get a cleaner view of the report. Dismiss the Document Summary banner at the top as well. From here, you can scroll through the full audit report and check out all the findings, compliance scores, and category breakdowns neatly laid out. Once you're done reviewing, close the PDF and jump back into the app. The audit has been successfully exported as a PDF. Let's go to the next step, which is to delete and export records, so you can keep your audit history organized and share results whenever needed. To clean up old records, open the three-dot menu next to the audit entry you want to manage. Pick the Delete option from the menu to remove that record. You'll see a quick confirmation pop up, letting you know the audit record was deleted. If you want to save a copy of your remaining records, just hit the export button. Our records are now cleanly managed and exported. Let's go to the next step, which is switching specification versions, allowing us to reference different versions of the MCP protocol as needed. To switch specification versions, jump over to the Spec Reference tab. Open the MCP specification version dropdown at the top to see all the available protocol versions you can reference. Go ahead and pick the 2025-1125 legacy option if you're working with older servers that haven't upgraded to the modern spec yet. The specification version is now set. Let's go to the next step, which is exploring protocol methods and error codes to understand the available operations and how to troubleshoot them. Let's dig into the actual protocol methods. Expand the Initialize section to see all the details about that method, including its parameters and expected behavior. If you want to check the spec for a different version, open the MCP specification version dropdown and pick the 2026-07-28 latest modern option to load that reference. Next, open up the server.discover section to review how servers advertise their capabilities and identity. You can also peek at subscriptions, listen the same way, then collapse it back once you've got what you need. Expand the error code section. This is super handy when you're debugging, since it lists every code the protocol can throw along with what it means. Take a moment to scroll through the page and get familiar with the layout. Everything you need, methods, parameters, and error references, is all in one spot for quick lookups while you're building. And that's a wrap. You've seen how MCPCognito Workbench makes MCP protocol validation simple, from validating protocol methods to identifying errors and issues. Now it's your turn to put your MCP servers to the test. Thanks for watching and happy validating.